You know, when you think about a best friend, a real one,
Mm-hmm.
it's that person who just, well, genuinely likes being with you. It's not about what they can get out of it.
Exactly. It's not transactional. It's just presence. They're just there.
Yeah, that non-transactional thing. And that actually sets us up perfectly for today's deep dive. We're looking at Jesus, often called the greatest friend.
It's a big claim, but we're going to dig into why people say that.
We are. We're heading into the Gospel of John, chapter 6, specifically verses 15 through 21.
A really potent little passage.
It is. And our mission, really, is to see how Jesus acts in ways that show his heart as a friend. We want to uncover insights that, deepen how we see that relationship.
Let's do it.
Okay, so context. This happens right after, immediately after, the feeding of the 5,000.
Mm.
The huge miracle.
Yeah, loaves and fishes feeding thousands.
Yeah.
An incredible display of power.
Right. But then John gives us this detail that the other Gospels don't have. Verse 15.
Ah, yes. This is crucial. John tells us why Jesus suddenly sent everyone away. It says, perceiving they were about to come and take him by force to make him king, he withdrew again by the mountain to be by himself.
By force. Okay, so they just saw this amazing miracle, and their reaction is, let's force him to be our king.
Exactly. They saw the power, the provision, and thought, this is our guy. He'll solve our problems, overthrow Rome, be our champion. They wanted that untouchable king. Set apart, powerful.
But Jesus backs away from that. Why?
Well, this is where John's emphasis is so important. It seems Jesus is saying, maybe you can't have me as king for you unless you first understand me as friend with you.
Friend first, then king.
Kind of. Or maybe friend with you reveals the kind of king he is. They wanted a king based on forceful power, maybe even political power. But Jesus seems to prioritize revealing his heart, his desire for actual relationship, before stepping into that kind of public king role they envisioned.
So it's about the relationship, not just the benefit of the power he provides.
Precisely. John shows us Jesus wants that personal connection. He wants to be with us, walking alongside us, not just ruling over us from a distance. That heart connection comes first.
Okay, that makes sense. But then what he does next seems, well, maybe a bit counterintuitive for a friend wanting to be with his disciples.
Right. He sends them straight into a storm.
Verse 16, evening comes, and he basically tells his disciples, get in the boat, cross the Sea of Galilee.
And think about the timing here. It's already dark. It's late, probably bedtime.
Yeah.
And these guys, they just finished this massive ministry event, feeding 5,000 people plus women and children. They must have been absolutely exhausted.
It's like, imagine I show up at your door at 10 p.m. after you've had a really long day, and I say, hey, let's go run a 10K right now. You down?
Slight laugh. Yeah, probably tell you where to go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's this really inconvenient, tiring command, and then it gets worse, right?
Oh, yeah. Double trouble hits them out on the water. First, this really strong wind kicks up.
Which turns what should be, like a 6-mile trip, maybe an hour or two?
Yeah, normally. But this wind turns it into this grueling, all-night slog. Maybe 6 hours or more, just fighting the wind. It's slow, painstaking. That's the time factor.
And the second thing?
The waves. They start crashing into the boat. And that's the really dangerous part. The wind is exhausting, but the waves, they could actually capsize the boat, sink it.
Right. And these aren't novices. These are fishermen. They know the sea.
Professional seafarers. They would have looked at the sky, felt the air, and known this is a bad time to go out.
But Jesus tells them to go anyway. He chooses to send them into it.
He does. Deliberately.
So why? If he's this great friend, why send them into difficulty, into danger?
Well, this really gets to the heart of it. Point one, maybe. Jesus, as our friend, sometimes sends us into the storm to deepen our need for him.
Okay, unpack that.
Think about it. When do you really grow? Is it when everything's easy, comfortable, smooth sailing?
Probably not. Usually it's when things get tough.
Exactly. It's not the easy times that your faith muscles get built. It's like the gym analogy you kind of hinted at.
Yeah, the 10K run. Or lifting weights.
Yeah. If you go to the gym and all you ever lift is the 2.5-pound weights, are you ever going to get stronger?
No, you'll plateau immediately.
Right. You need the resistance, the weight, the intensity. That challenge is what actually forces growth. Jesus knows that sometimes for our faith to deepen, for our reliance on him to become real, we need to face the storm.
So the storm isn't necessarily a punishment or him being absent. It's actually part of his friendship designed to draw us closer.
It can be, yes. It forces us beyond our own strength, our own abilities, and makes us look for him.
That's a challenging thought. So for anyone listening, What do you do when Jesus calls you to row into your storm? Maybe it's serving when you feel totally drained,
Or giving when money's tight.
confessing something really hard,
Yeah.
trying to break a habit that just won't quit.
Speaking up for what's right when it's unpopular.
Yeah. Are you going to say, nope, looks stormy, I'm staying on the shore? Or trust him and get in the boat?
It's a crucial question, and it leads right into the next part of the story. They're out there rowing against the wind.
For hours.
Yeah, they get about 3 or 4 miles out, which puts them where?
Right smack in the middle of the Sea of Galilee.
The absolute worst place to be in a storm. Furthest from land in any direction. Furthest from safety.
And it's precisely there, at their lowest point, in the middle of the chaos.
That Jesus shows up, he enters the situation right at its worst.
They see him walking on the water, coming towards the boat. And their reaction,
Sheer terror. They were frightened.
which, I mean, you can understand why they didn't recognize him at first.
But
Like,
totally, imagine the boat's pitching and rolling like crazy.
waves are probably splashing over the sides, blocking your view.
It's pitch black, dark.
There's a strong wind blowing right in your face, making your eyes water.
Yeah, and probably sea mist, like fog hanging in the air. Visibility would be terrible.
It's kind of like us sometimes, isn't it? We get caught in our own storms, the problems seem huge,
Yeah.
and maybe Jesus is drawing near, but we're so focused on the wind and the waves, on the problem itself, that we don't even see him. We don't recognize his presence.
That's so true. So the big question is, how do they recognize him? It wasn't sight, not initially.
It was his voice.
Yes, he speaks through the storm. It is I, he says. Do not be afraid. That voice cuts through the noise, through the fear.
And they knew that voice. Like John 10 says, my sheep hear my voice.
And I know them, and they follow me. That voice changed everything in that boat.
Instantly, despair turns into delight, fear turns into faith.
Concern becomes celebration. Terror transforms into triumph, all because they heard his voice.
And this speaks volumes about living by faith, not by sight, doesn't it?
Absolutely. We live so much based on what we can see, our circumstances, and often what we see, well, it doesn't look like victory is possible. It looks like the storm will win. But we're called to live differently, by faith, trusting the voice of the shepherd even when we can't see the path clearly.
So if you're out there listening, and you're in a storm right now, maybe the encouragement is to just listen. Try to hear his voice above the noise. Remember his promises.
Things like, I will be with you always, even to the end of the age.
Or, come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest.
Let not your hearts be troubled. Don't be afraid.
When you pass through the waters, I will be with you. Those aren't just old words on a page.
No, they're his living voice for your situation right now. And John's placement of this story, it's really interesting.
You mentioned it's right between the feeding of the 5,000 and the explanation of it.
Exactly, sandwiched right in there. And importantly, John leaves out the part about Peter walking on the water that Matthew includes.
Why do you think he does that?
Well, it seems John's focus here isn't just on the miraculous power display, though walking on water is certainly that. His emphasis seems to be on Jesus's personal presence.
Oh.
It's not just about Jesus providing stuff, bread, miracles, even walking on water. It's that Jesus himself, his presence, is what they truly needed. He is for them, personally.
It's not just about getting things from God, but about being with God.
Yes. And notice, they didn't row to Jesus. Jesus came to them. He meets us in the middle, right where we are, often at our worst.
Wow. Okay, so he gets into the boat, and then what happens?
The storm stops, the wind dies down.
Even better, according to John, verse 21. Then they were glad to take him into the boat, and immediately the boat was at the land to which they were going. Just like that. Instant arrival.
Which is incredible, but it also raises a small, interesting point about the destination itself.
Okay.
Well, John 6.17 says they started out heading across the sea to Capernaum.
Right.
But if you look at Mark's account of this same period, Mark says Jesus had initially told them to go to Bethsaida.
Huh. So Capernaum or Bethsaida, but John just says they arrived at the land to which they were going.
Exactly. Which leads to this third insight about Jesus as our friend. He always ensures our arrival at the right place, even if it's not our initial destination.
Okay, so the right destination isn't always the one we first set out for.
It seems so. Maybe the plan changed mid-journey? Maybe the storm altered the course, but when Jesus got in the boat, they arrived exactly where they were meant to be.
That's really encouraging because, sometimes life throws you curveballs. You think you're headed one way
Mm,
and you end up somewhere completely different. And it's easy to feel like, oh no, I missed it. I messed up God's plan.
right, discouraged, like you failed. But this story suggests maybe not. Maybe allow God to change your course midway through the water. Trust that where you land with him is the right place, even if it wasn't on your original map.
So Jesus doesn't promise like smooth sailing for the rest of the trip once he gets in the boat.
No, the text just says they arrived immediately. It doesn't say the rest of life will be storm-free.
But he does promise to get us there, to the right place.
That seems to be the promise. He ensures arrival. And notice how he does it.
What do you mean?
Well, think about the king they wanted earlier. That kind of king might, go behind closed doors into the Situation Room, manipulate events from afar to fix the problem.
Right. Pull strings unseen.
But Jesus doesn't do that here. He shows up in person. He gets into the boat with them right in the middle of the mess at the worst time.
He engages directly, personally.
Yes. Again, showing his heart isn't just about being over them, but being for them, and fundamentally being with them. That's friendship.
So wrapping this up then, these three things really show Jesus as this incredible friend.
Yeah, first, he sometimes sends us into the storm, not to harm us, but to deepen our need for him, to grow our faith.
Then second, he enters into our mess right at its worst point. He comes to us to show us his heart, his presence.
Mm-hmm. Meets us in the middle. And third, even if the journey is rough and the destination changes, he ensures we arrive at the right place when we welcome him into our boat.
It paints a really powerful picture of friendship. Not just a distant provider, but someone deeply involved and present.
Absolutely.
So maybe a final thought for everyone listening. In your own storms, your own moments of fear or confusion,
Okay.
even when you can't see clearly, when the wind is howling and the waves are high, try to listen. Listen for his voice.
It is I, do not be afraid.
Yeah, trust that if you hear that voice, even faintly, you're on the right path. It might not be the path you planned, but with him in the boat, it leads exactly where you need to be.